Welcome to Diversion Insights Quick Takes. I'm Terry Vidals, and today we're tackling a medication that creates unique challenges for healthcare facilities across the country, Propofol. At the federal level, it is not a controlled substance under the Controlled Substance Act. Back in 2010, the DEA actually proposed placing Propofol into Schedule 4. That proposal never moved forward and was never finalized, but it did highlight something very important, and that is that there is recognized risk with this medication. Currently, as far as I'm aware, 3 states classify Propofol as a controlled substance: Alabama, Georgia, and North Dakota. All 3 states place it in the Schedule 4 of their state controlled substance list. This makes sense when you consider the Federal Controlled Substance Act explicitly states that its provisions don't preempt state law or diminish a state's power to enforce its own controlled substance statutes. These 3 states felt it was important to schedule it, and they did it as far back as 2011, 2012. This means it can be done, despite the common barriers people throw up as reasons that it can't. Even if you are not in one of these 3 states, you cannot just ignore Propofol from a diversion and security perspective. As I discussed in a recent podcast with a former Joint Commission surveyor, facilities will be held accountable if there's a safety event involving Propofol, even if your state doesn't require it to be handled as a controlled substance. The known risk of misuse is documented, and it matters. When I talk with people at facilities, there are barriers that are cited when they're confronted with handling Propofol as a controlled substance. The first one I usually hear about is it takes up too much real estate in the automated dispensing machine to have a dedicated cabinet or drawer. Number 2, there is no good place to waste it. If it is placed in a waste bin, there could be an odor or mold growth due to the product being a lipid-based compound. So we cannot have it in the units, and we certainly cannot have it in a sterile OR. A third, but real barrier I hear about is that it is difficult to remove the leftover Propofol from the vial. It takes effort to pull it out with a syringe. There's no good way to just let it drip out through the tubing. Those are the main things that I hear. I'm sure there are more barriers, so please let me know what it is that your facility struggles with. These are legitimate barriers, but again, every facility in 3 states has found a way to do it. The rest need to lean in. As we do better and better in securing our controlled substances, those with a substance use disorder will branch out to other drugs that are less secure. Propofol is just one of them. Dexmedetomidine, anesthetic gases. Yes, securing these items is an investment in storage space. That could be a big capital expense that will need to be planned for. But isn't it better to plan on your own timeline than one that is forced upon you after an event? As for waste, see a recent podcast titled Securing the Unsecured, a study on Propofol waste to see how one institution was successful. The bottom line is this: medications with a high abuse potential require thoughtful handling from a security standpoint. Find solutions that balance security, safety for patients and staff, compliance, and practical workflow realities. Thanks for joining me for this quick take. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more insights on drug diversion and controlled substance management. When you subscribe, it helps me to know that you value the podcast content, and it really does encourage me to keep them coming. Thank you.